The creative process is 3 steps. Step 1 says ask. And almost without exception, when you are asking from your physical format, when you are asking, you are usually pretty far outside the vortex. When you're asking, when you have a problem, when there's a situation, when you don't have enough of something that you want, or when you have too much of something you don't want, when you are asking, often you're asking for improvement, which means you're outside the vortex. So step 1 in the 3-part equation of creation, step 1 says ask. Contrast helps you to do that. Step 2 is source inside the vortex, law of attraction responding to that focal point. Everything that you want is answered. It is answered in the moment that you ask for it. So step 1 happens without you even knowing it's happening, because you can't stop sifting and sorting. You can't stop observing. You can't stop being alive in your physical body. Well, you could, but while you're here, you can't stop offering the vibration. So step 1 happens. Step 2 happens without your attention to it. But step 3 is you must find a way of becoming a vibrational match to what you've asked for, not to the reason you ask for it. The reason you've asked for it, you're already a match. That's why you're ornery. The reason you're asking for it, you're already a match to what you don't want. That's why you feel the consternation or the struggle or the embarrassment or the overwhelmment. That's why you feel the anger. That's why you feel the resentment or the blame. That's why you feel the depression. In other words, step 1 causes you to ask for something. Step 3 is you got to get in the vortex. You got to get inside the vortex where the answers are, where the alignment is, where the circumstances and events have already been aligned, where the solutions are. You have to be a vibrational match to the answer, not to the problem. You can't set your radio dial on 6:30 a.m. and hear what's being broadcast on 98.7 FM. And we don't want to make any of those radio stations angry with us, but one of those frequencies is in the vortex and one of them isn't. Draw your own conclusions. Talk radio outside the vortex. Beautiful music inside. So when you get your mind around this and you realize that you are a being with 2 vibrational vantage points that are in every waking moment playing off of one another, then you can understand why you feel the emotions you do. When you feel joyful, it's because there's no resistance within you. When you feel painful, when you feel ornery, even if you have physical discomfort, that means there's resistance within you. And that resistance is your attention to something that has a lower frequency, that lowers the frequency of your vibration and holds you in, hear this, an unnatural place. It is natural for you to be in the vortex. And the reason that we can say this so unequivocally to you is because this vortex of creation is so much bigger than this vortex of creation that you've got going on. In other words, when you are exploring in your physical form, the whole purpose of this exploration is for the adding to the whole of who you are. So when you explore and you add to, but you don't go, well, let's be clear. You go eventually. Because when you have your croaking experience, the vortex will take you and you will feel the ecstasy of the releasing of all of that resistance. But we just don't think you should have to croak in order to get in the vortex. And that's what this gathering is about. We call this the art of allowing. The art of allowing myself in my physical form to be a vibrational match to the larger part of me. The art of no longer doing that thing I do, beating that drum I beat, beating the drum and keeping active within me the thought and therefore the vibration that is contrasting or contradicting to the vibration of who I really am, which slows down my vibration, which keeps me from the vortex, which gives me the indication of negative emotion. So is it the negative emotion that keeps you out of the vortex? No. The negative emotion is your indication that you're not in the vortex. The negative emotion is your indication of a lower, slower vibration. Lower and slower than who? Than the masters? Than God? Than the good ones? Lower and slower vibration from who? Lower and slower vibration from the larger part of you. You're the one through life who sped your vibration up. And once you have sped your vibration up, you got to keep up with it, because there's no regression. There's no going back. You cannot live life and know this, and the larger part of you become it, and then say, never mind. You can't do it. You cannot be less than life has caused you to become. And if you attempt it, you will feel the negative emotion that is your indicator that you're doing an unnatural thing. You're holding yourself back from what you have become. Nice to know. So, this vortex is such a wonderful analogy, because you can get the feeling of it, and it is so pictorially accurate to what is really going on. Because in this creation, there is an attraction, and there is an energy, and there is a vortex, and you can feel the pulling of it. That's what inspiration is. That's what that feeling is. When you are feeling so compelled, so inspired, so wanting to be a part of something, that's your inner being calling you, and you hearing the call. But if you're over here in despair or fear or anger, and the source within you is calling you to the larger part of you, and you're holding in a resistant state to your blame or pushing against the reason for your blog, the reason for your contention, the reason for your stating your enemy, the reason for your justifying why you're not in a better place, as you hold tight in your human form, and you have the free will to do it, as you hold tight to the vibration that disallows the movement into who you really are, you feel the discord of that.